Hawks are 3-0 in the postseason when facing elimination, trying to make it 4-0 and force a Game 7 on Sunday back in Golden State. Tatum drives, then pulls back and pops the jumper at the elbow, and the Celtics are up by 12 early. Warriors fight back. Draymond Green in the corner for his first three of the series. Then Jordan Poole banks home this three, and the Warriors close the quarter on an 11-0 run. Warriors were up 54-39 at the half. In the finals, teams that are up by 15 or more at the half are 53-1. The Warriors hit their first 6 shots of the third quarter, all threes. Curry accounted for 3 of those 6, and this one gives the Warriors their largest lead of the game at 22. Celtics show signs of life. Al Horford catches down low, puts it up in the foul. Boston goes on a 16-4 run, and it's a 10-point Warriors lead going into the fourth. All right, so Jaylen Brown connects on a 3, lead down to 8. Curry, looking for his first finals MVP, nails another 3. 6 of 10 from downtown, 32 points. Warriors win their 4th title in 8 years. The final last night, 103-90, and Curry takes the Bill Russell MVP award. Congratulations. Packed house last night at Wolf Stadium here in San Antonio as the Mission suit up in Uvalde Coyote uniforms that they will sell at auction to help raise money for the Robb School Memorial Fund. On the second, runners at the corners, Chandler Siegel, who slaps a base hit to left that brings home Thomas Milone. And San Antonio takes a 1-0 lead. Missions go on to win 4-3 against the Sod Poodles. Fans and players we talked to say they were happy to help participate in last night's auction.
Just the fact the community can come together and get behind like one cause, you don't see that all the time, and so this is something I'm glad we can get behind.
Even Missions manager Philip Wellman joined in on donation efforts. He put up $10,000 for his own jersey. The final total is still pending this morning. When we get it, we will let you know. And that's a look at morning sports.
And time now, 4:41 and 76 degrees for now. Still ahead, just how much has the price of food gone up at the grocery store? We're going to compare those prices next.
And up next, why Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are not doing so well right now, and that itself may be an understatement. $4.44 in December, we showed you that a cart of groceries cost $22 more than it did a year ago.
So what's happened since then in just 6 months? Here's 12 on your sides, Marilyn Morris with another foodflation price check.
Checking out is adding up. Aisle after aisle, food prices are climbing.
Everything from the vegetables to the bread to the cereal, the milk, the eggs. Oh my goodness, the eggs, it's ridiculous.
Denise Salinas just spent $300.
I didn't buy no meat. And I was like,
just how fast are prices rising? To find out, we shopped the same items we priced last winter for curbside pickup at the same store. And here's what we found. The same groceries that cost $224 just 6 months ago now cost $15 more. Inflation has a seat at the kitchen table. Check it out. The price of our milk soared 42%. And breakfast? Eggs are up 16%. Bacon up 10%. Coffee perked up another 9%, and get this, oatmeal cost a whopping 58% more.
Making a sandwich for lunch, this bread is up 23%, the sliced turkey up 16%, and this mayo, it's up 29%.
You just try and do the best that you can with what's out there, you know. A lot of chicken and a lot of hamburger meat.
But that meat and potato supper is also costing more. Chicken thighs up 3%. Ground sirloin rising nearly 6%, and those potatoes, 30% more. But when it comes to prime ribeye, it's actually cheaper, down 18%, a rare thing.
It's not getting any better.
And it won't anytime soon, economists say, not as long as supply chain, gasoline, and Ukraine issues remain. And here's one more cold hard fact. Our ice cream is up 14%. Not exactly the scoop you were hoping for. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
So we can't afford a tank of gas, but ribeye for everyone.
Yes, exactly. We'll eat at home. And looking out with TransGuide, things are looking okay so far at Loop 1604 and Kitty Hawk.
The most surprising thing in that is the oatmeal.
Hang on, let us transition here to our double box. It's coming here. It's not one of those.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oatmeal. That was the most surprising thing there.
What about it?
Oh, yeah.
It was up, what, 56% or something like that?
Yeah.
It was a large jump.
I need to flip these boxes here.
Oh,
So
I know.
here, I'll look at you that way. So,
What's that so weird? Because you've never said that before.
I know. Anyway. Hey, I guess,
we put you over there.
Get yourself a ribeye, treat yourself or something like that.
Yes.
Zip that's down a little bit.
Something.
You know what sounds good right now? Steak and eggs with one of those ribeyes.
Ease the pain.
Well, the eggs went up, though.
Ease the pain of everything else.
So is something.
Yeah.
Tie's all crooked now. We've got all sorts of problems this morning.
I know, don't we? And we've got dust. I mean, look at that.
Dust.
So, yeah.
How are things on Tatooine over there?
No kidding. I mean, it does look like something from Star Wars. This is what we're going to be seeing again today, although the dust is going to get better over the next couple of days. Right now, we don't have a whole heck of a lot in the way of clouds. Within the hour, most areas were reporting mostly clear skies around here. We'll see a few of the clouds developing as the morning rolls on. So here is the Saharan dust, and it will definitely be sticking around. But as we go into tomorrow, actually in the overnight hours, it is going to start to thin out some, and throughout the weekend, it should be, at least this latest plume, should be pretty much out of here. So that's one plus side. However, going into next week, we've got another batch of it, which is going to be starting to slide on in here. So I think by midweek, we will see a bit more of it. The good news also this morning is the fact that dew points are down. I mean, 3, 4, 5 degrees, 8 degrees lower in Uvalde. So it is slightly less humid this morning. Still humid out there, but we'll take anything we can get, obviously. Temperatures, we are going to drop down a couple of more notches here with the clear skies, with the slightly lower humidity. That allows temperatures to drop down. And then, of course, it heats up very, very quickly. So already mid-upper 80s throughout the mid-morning hours. Once again, 90 at noon. And once again, we are going for some triple digits out here, 100. So that will be day number 16. So far, we've hit 15 officially out at the airport, and we'll just keep racking them up over the next few days. So once again, here's the humidity, which is slightly lower this morning, and it will be dropping down somewhat this afternoon. So we're not going to have just outrageously high heat index readings around here. So again, slightly more comfortable. Satellite picture right now, this is the computer model, and there is one tiny glimmer of hope as far as a stray shower. This one has one or two of them trying to pop up late this afternoon. Again, it's the small little dots. I don't even really have anything in the forecast with it. This is just one computer model that's showing that. So if a stray shower happens to pop up, great, but I just wouldn't count on anything out there. Just going to pretty much just hot and sunny. 90 at noon, mostly sunny skies, and then high temperature again up to 100. If there happens to be a stray shower that pops up, strike up the band and tell your friends about it. And then going into the long holiday weekend, it is going to remain very hot around here. We may actually go up a little bit Sunday and Monday. Of course, the holiday is on Monday, long Father's Day. So dads kind of get an extra day, if you will. Put it that way, since we've got the Juneteenth holiday on Monday as well. Oh, by the way, look what happens on Tuesday.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Oh, yes.
Although it's been feeling like summer.
We knew it was coming, but this is just a formality at this point.
I don't think there's ever been a greater moot point to point out that summer begins on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I like the little beach ball graphic, though.
Yeah.
Like, yay, summer.
Hey, thank you, Mike. 450, 76 degrees.
And up next, Bryan Cranston and Annette Bening star in a new movie now on streaming that's based on the true story of a retired couple who figured out a way to beat the lottery. Speaking of the lottery.
Okay, lottery numbers, pick 3201, Fireball 3. Daily 4 numbers, 4729, Fireball 3.
Cash 5, 9, 19, 21, 27, 29. And your Texas two-step, 1, 5, 6, 19. Bonus ball, 35.
In this morning's GMA First Look, crypto crash. The largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Back in January, one Bitcoin would have cost you more than $47,000. But today, it's worth less than half of that, plunging by a staggering 25% in just the last week. One of the largest crypto lenders, Celsius Networks, freezing customer withdrawals.
It's going to hurt us a lot if we don't see that money.
But crypto is unregulated and lacking the legal protections built into banks. making it a volatile and unpredictable way to invest.
The smart way to invest is going to be your 401k or, a index fund or a mutual fund.
And it's not just the crypto market struggling. Coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have what you need to know to deal with rising interest rates and falling stock prices. With your GMA First Look, I'm Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News, New York.
If you're looking to beat the heat, lots of new movies are streaming or in theaters this weekend.
For the latest what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Jason Nathanson.
Finally. It's time to learn the real story of Buzz Lightyear. Lightyear takes the Toy Story favorite and sends him into space. Voiced by Chris Evans, best known for playing another hero, Captain America. Both characters well known for their bravery and courage. So I asked Evans, who would win in a fight, Buzz or Cap?
Well, I got to go with Cap. I've been with that character for a long time. It's where my allegiance lies.
Lightyear is in theaters this weekend.
There's a loophole that the lottery didn't see.
The more we bet, the better the odds.
Streaming this weekend, Bryan Cranston and Annette Bening star in Jerry and Marge Go Large, based on the true story of a retired couple who figured out a way to beat the lottery. And Bening emphasized beat, not cheat.
They were playing by the rules, and since the lottery also benefited from it, it went on for 10 years. And they weren't hiding either, which is interesting.
You can find Jerry and Marge Go Large on Paramount+. A big birthday tomorrow for a legendary Beatle, Paul McCartney, turning 80 on Saturday. He and the Beatles put out their first album, Please Please Me, in 1963. Almost 60 years later, McCartney still going strong.
We said we'd come back, and we got back.
Wrapping up his Got Back tour last night at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. And happy birthday today to Kendrick Lamar, the celebrated Grammy-winning rapper turning 35. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
456, 76 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA, we're going to hear new testimony during the hearing regarding the January 6th Capitol attack about a heated exchange between former President Trump and former Vice President Mike Pence.
Plus, a new world record set by a company that toppled thousands of laptops like Domino's. We have details ahead in Tech Bites.
And a quick look at the roads with TransGuide. There's a look there at 35 at Maine. And things have been moving this morning, but we're going to be checking in with Stephen Cavazos, who just walked in the studio. Good morning.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Making headlines this morning, multiple fire crews battle a massive brush fire on the south side overnight. Details just ahead.
New chilling details revealed in the third January 6th public hearing. I'm ABC's Faith Abube in Washington. That story coming up.
And taking a look outside with live cam this morning, we are starting at 76 degrees. And yesterday, we were back to the heat.
And good morning to you. It's Friday. It is June 17th.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we had a slight break this week, Wednesday, and then yesterday was all back to normal.
How are we looking for the upcoming Father's Day weekend, Mike Osterhage?
I have to comment on what Stephanie said, back to normal. When we think of now hundreds being the normal, which, it is, but yeah, we're still, yesterday we were almost 10 degrees above normal, got up to 102. The average temperature is 93 degrees, so we're way above that, but today is going to be another, back to normal day, whatever we're used to right now. 76 degrees right now, and we don't have much of a breeze out there. Take a look at the bottom number. Dew points at 68. Still above 60. It's still kind of humid out there, but a whole lot better than yesterday when we were up in the low 70s for dew point temperatures. And yeah, 2, 3, 4 degrees with dew point does make a whole heck of a lot of difference. There, we are going to be up back to normal again today at 100 for a high temperature. As far as the aquifer in yesterday's reading, it did drop down 0.2 of a foot. Of course, stage 2 restrictions are still in effect for SAWS customers, and mold is on the low side. So despite the fact that we do have slightly lower humidity this morning, we still have a bit of a heat index out there in a couple of spots. It may feel a degree or two warmer than the actual air temperature, like up at Canyon Lake, where it feels like 80 still. But yes, it is slightly more comfortable, and we don't have quite as much in the way of cloud cover as of right now. So a couple of extra clouds this morning, not quite as humid. Again, we're grasping at anything we can get as far as a break from all the heat and humidity, but mostly sunny. Hazy again today. We still got some of that Saharan dust hanging around here. 100 for a high temperature. temperature, and the weekend not as hazy. So that's, I guess, a little bit of good news for the weekend, but still it's going to be very hot, and still we're going to keep chalking up the triple-digit days going into next week. All the details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Stephen Cavazos. Morning, sir. Anything going on?
Good morning, Mike. Well, I loved driving to work today, and not just because it's Friday, because the roads have been pretty quiet here in town. Let's get a look and see what you can expect for this early morning drive. There's 410 at Marbach. Not really a whole lot of activity out there, but there are people that wake up early along with us, so we have to make sure that we follow the rules of the road, both eyes on the road and both hands on the wheel. So just keep that in mind when you head out. You won't really encounter a whole lot here in town. So our map is showing a lot of active construction spots, and the majority of drivers can breathe a sigh of relief, but unfortunately, we can't say the same for what's happening over here on the southwest side. Let's go ahead and take you in. You see a buildup taking place there, and that's because a rollover crash was reported just minutes ago there off I-35 northbound, not far from Poteet-Jordanton Freeway. So keep this in mind. It's in the northbound lanes of 35. If you are traveling in from Lytle, you will likely encounter this, and we are going to go ahead and start there with those travel times, because you can see we are seeing a little bit of a delay there. Typically, it would take you about 16 to 17 minutes according to our maps here, but right now those travel time is going to be about a 20-minute drive time heading in from Lytle. Everywhere else looks pretty normal. 29 on I-37 Pleasanton to downtown San Antonio, and about a 30-minute drive time on Highway 90 coming in from Castroville. But keep this in mind. This is over on the southwest side. Talk to our friends at TransGuide. Unfortunately, none of the cameras are working in that area, so we're going to have to monitor that closely. So stay with us here on GMSA for the very latest. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephen. Now to some late-breaking news. A scuffle at an after-hours strip club has left 2 San Antonio police officers a bit battered and bruised.
And a man accused of fighting with them also has a few scars. Katrina Weber is live where it happened near Loop 410 and Perrin Vital. Katrina.
Well, good morning, Stephanie and Mark. Yeah, this sounds like a very wild night, both inside and outside Diamond's Show Club here, which is right here behind me near Loop 410 and Perrin Vital. The police say not only did they fight with someone inside the club, but then they also had an encounter with a suspected drunk driver. Let me give you a look at the situation back here. The police got a call a little bit after 3:30 this morning, a woman telling them that her ex had violated a protective order that she had against him, and she also directed them to this club where she said he was. Police got inside. They did find the man who they say had a warrant. He put up a fight as they tried to arrest him, according to officers, and that is when they had to use their taser to take him into custody. So that man had to be checked out by paramedics. The 2 officers also sustained a couple of bruises, according to their sergeant. Now, in the meantime, while police had this parking lot flooded with cars, they also were on the access road nearby, and that is when a suspected drunk driver came along. Now, his car is this pickup. It's right here on the truck. It has some front end damage. So police did take that man into custody, as well as the one who was the subject of their original call with that assault. Both of them are going to be looking at charges. And they say that this is the second night in a row that they have been called to this nightclub for trouble. Just, I guess, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, they say they had a security officer here who was pepper sprayed and punched by a woman who showed up here. So police are keeping their eyes on this club just to see what is going on. But they say, again, 2 nights in a row they've had trouble here. Reporting live on the northeast side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Katrina, thank you. This morning, San Antonio area firefighters still dealing with a brush fire in a field on the city's south side.
We are learning that fire spread quickly. Our Jonathan Cotto joins us live at the scene. Good morning, Jonathan. What does the situation look like now?
Good morning, Stephanie. I'm located right off of Roosevelt Avenue here on the city's south side, just outside of Loop 410. Now, we're learning that the situation here at this field is de-escalating, and good thing it is, because right next to us is a U-Star fuel storage facility. Now, let's take a look at what some of that scene looked like earlier yesterday and earlier this morning. We'd learned that this fire first started shortly after 7 p.m. We know San Antonio firefighters responded to this field that's located right next to U-Star. This is a fuel storage facility. Now, we're told that the fire was able to quickly spread out over 200 acres overnight, and they tell us that the winds let up and the humidity set in and that played a significant factor in helping firefighters to really contain the spread of this fire. Now, the good news here, Mark and Stephanie, is that this fire did get close to homes. However, no homes or any buildings were affected by this fire. Now, again, this incident is de-escalating. Right now, we only see a small amount of fire crews on scene, keeping an eye out for any potential hotspots. Now, if we come back to the live shot, we do see at a distance a lot of that smoke that's generating from that area of this field. But again, crews are out here keeping an eye out on this fire at this field here on the south side. As more information has become available, we'll update you. Reporting live, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. As testimony continues in front of lawmakers today in Uvalde, leaders here in San Antonio are learning lessons from that tragedy. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar said this week BCSO is working to provide all patrol deputies with more equipment at all times. That includes ballistic shields, battering rams, and sledgehammers.
In an active shooter situation, when seconds count, many times bullets are still flying. There's still smoke in the air when the first responders arrive. Those first responders usually patrol deputies. And so we're now putting tools in the hands of our patrol deputies that are typically seen deployed with a SWAT team.
Sheriff Salazar also says he supports red flag laws, which would allow law enforcement to temporarily seize weapons from those who are considered a threat. Right now, 19 states and Washington, D.C. have red flag laws on the books. Texas does not.
New details were revealed during the third January 6th public hearing.
It focused on the significant pressure former President Trump and his allies put on Vice President Mike Pence to overturn the 2020 election results. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington with the details.
The January 6th committee's third public hearing reconstructed in great detail the immense pressure campaign former President Donald Trump waged on his own vice president in private and in public to name him the winner of the 2020 election he lost.
Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us.
Former White House aides and Mike Pence's legal counsel testifying. The pressure only grew intense as Pence rebuffed the efforts, telling Trump the vice president does not have the power to overturn a presidential election. But on the morning of January 6th, Trump calling Pence from the Oval Office. Trump, meanwhile, stoking his supporters by repeatedly attacking Mike Pence at the January 6th rally, and again with this tweet saying Pence lacked courage. This as the angry mob stormed the Capitol. Trump's own aides shocked.
It felt like he was pouring gasoline on the fire by tweeting that.
These images showing Pence and his family hiding, then moving to an underground parking garage when the angry mob came within 40 feet of the vice president. Pence eventually certifying the election result for Biden after consulting with widely respected conservative judge Michael Luttig.
That declaration of Donald Trump as the next president would have plunged America into what I believe would have been tantamount to a revolution.
And as the committee plans its next hearing on Tuesday, they want to hear from Ginny Thomas, a strong Trump backer and wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. There are questions about her role in the effort to overturn the election. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
510, 76 degrees.
And still ahead, Elon Musk talks to Twitter employees for the first time since he bought the social network. We're going to tell you what he said.
Outside with live cam, we're going to check on the forecast for Father's Day and Juneteenth coming up. The first official day of summer is next week. A sad day for the Alamo City after months of infighting and failed negotiations. The San Antonio Symphony is no more.
The board has decided to dissolve the symphony and file for bankruptcy. So this is 9 months after a musician's strike. Now, it's a statement saying in part, quote, the musicians union has made it clear there is no prospect of the resumption of negotiations absent the board agreeing to a budget that is millions of dollars in excess of what the symphony can afford, end quote. Now, musicians turned down a, quote, last best and final offer that would have reduced staff pay and health care benefits. The chair of musicians of the San Antonio Symphony saying the community has shown it will support an orchestra.
While it's very sad that such a proud organization with such a long history has ended in this way, the intent of the founders of the Symphony Society of San Antonio will be carried forward by the musicians.
The musicians say the group still intends to play concerts in the fall. If you want more information, our award-winning KSAT Explained series has a closer look at the San Antonio Symphony and the musicians' strike and how we got here. You can watch it all right now on KSAT.com on our free KSAT Plus app.
Time now, 5:14 and 76 degrees for now.
Ferrari giving an update on its effort to mostly have electric cars by 2026.
Plus a first look at a new Guinness World Record involving thousands of laptops.
Ghirardelli Intense Dark. Bold. Rich. Intensely delicious dark chocolate. Ghirardelli Intense Dark. Makes life a bite better.
Better skin from your body wash? Try Olay Body Wash with skincare super ingredient collagen. Olay Body Wash hydrates for healthier looking skin in just 14 days. From dry and dull to firm and radiant. With Olay Body, I feel fearless in my skin.
In today's Tech Bites, Elon Musk addressed Twitter employees for the first time since announcing plans to buy the platform. Musk told them he wants Twitter to be a place for free speech. He said he prefers to have employees in office, but added if someone is exceptional at their work, they may work remotely. Ferrari says 60% of its cars will be electrified by 2026. It's aiming to launch 15 new models by then, spending over $4 billion developing hybrids or all-electric vehicles. It hopes to be carbon neutral by 2030. And an old record literally fell in Indianapolis. Workers at a recycling company set a Guinness record, toppling more than 2,900 laptops like dominoes. They hope the feat highlights the importance of recycling electrical waste. Luckily, the laptops didn't fall on anyone's foot, or they would have been in for a megahertz. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
That's cute.
I could almost do that at home. I swear I have like 10 laptops sitting around. I could at least do a partial domino
really?
fall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just don't hurt yourself.
I will do my best. 519. What's happening out there, Stephen?
Thankfully, not a whole lot. Still trying to make sense of that joke, but thankfully, drivers don't have to make a lot of sense of these roads because they are pretty quiet right now. 35 there at the upper level of Brooklyn. You can see things look like they're moving just fine. But 37 at Fair Avenue, keeping an eye on a few things. Did see some flashing lights out of 281, but it doesn't appear to be anything major. Could be a stalled vehicle. Keep in mind, we've noticed a lot of those stalls over the last few mornings, so you got to make sure you check those vehicles. We know a lot of people may be traveling for the upcoming holiday weekend to see their dads. Just make sure that everything is working properly before you get out there. I know my folks are actually traveling up here. But let's go ahead and talk about what we are seeing on the map. We talked about this crash over here on the southwest side, pardon me, I-35 northbound near Poteet-Jordanton Freeway. It looks like we are seeing some improvement. There was a little bit of a slowdown, and that looks like it is getting a little better with time. But just keep this in mind. A rollover crash reported sometime before 4:30 this morning. You have to make sure that you're driving carefully out there, especially anytime you see those flashing lights. And of course, plan ahead. We've been telling you about this drainage work off Loop 410 over on the west side of San Antonio. This is going to be wrapping today. Starts at 9 in the morning, finishes around 5 in the afternoon. And during that time, you can expect a full closure of the turnaround and southbound and northbound turnaround there at State Highway 151. So grab your phones, open those camera apps, and of course, you know the drill. Scan those QR codes by tapping the center of your screen. That's going to take you directly to the KSAT traffic page. And if you have any travel plans, you want to know what's closed in your area, scroll to the bottom of the page and you'll find a list of closures taking place. Guys.
Thanks, Stephen. Yep. Mike, what do you have there?
Yeah, it's
it is I don't know how to exactly pronounce it. Is it a datura? Datara?
Uh-oh.
Beautiful.
Okay. At least we have a name.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yes, thank you.
And it enjoys the heat.
It enjoys
Look at that.
Yeah, cool looking flower.
Unless it's shriveling on purpose on the ends there in the heat.
Could be.
I don't know.
But that, yeah, I mean, very neat looking.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture, Sylvia. And we got a lot of, mostly clear skies this morning. A couple of clouds hanging around here. It's not quite as humid as it was the past couple of mornings. We have temperatures now 76, look at that, 68 Rio Medina, Uvalde at 69, low to mid 70s. So actually these numbers are down couple of notches compared to this time yesterday, and these numbers, the dew points, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, are down pretty much across the board. We were, I don't even recall if anybody was in the 60s yesterday for dew point temperatures. Everybody was up in the 70s, so at least slightly less humidity around here this morning, which will take anything. Bit more pleasant when you step outside. We will have more sunshine around here later on today. We'll drop down another couple of degrees here or there, and then wind is going to start to get up, say 10, 15 miles per hour throughout the day. It's not going to be overly breezy. We'll make it up to 90 today at noon. And of course, with this slightly lower humidity starting off this morning, then that heats up that much more quickly than moist air does. Doesn't take as much energy to heat up the drier air as it does the more moist air. So once again, no matter how you slice it, it's still going to be hot today, and it's going to get up to 100 later on this afternoon. Again, southeasterly wind about 10 to 15 miles per hour. All right, here's the computer model, and the only reason why I'm really showing this is one computer model does have one or two, three, pardon me, little spots that it wants to try and scare up a stray shower late this afternoon in around dinner time. Few and far between. Don't even really have any mention of it in the formal forecast, if you will. But if there is a stray shower that pops up, fantastic. That would be about it. Otherwise, one or two extra clouds hanging around here. We'll have some more clouds tomorrow morning, and then we clear back out. So if you kind of look at the upper level wind pattern here, and where these lines are closer together, this would be what we refer to a lot of times as the jet stream. But notice how this whole pattern, and even going well up there on the top of your screen, almost forms the Greek letter omega, and it's called an omega block, which means nothing moves, which means that thing, that high, is not moving around. And so that's what's keeping us on the hot side. And with this pattern, we don't get any change since this thing really just does not move. The hope would be that something would start brewing in the Gulf of Mexico and swing on in here around that clockwise rotation. Doesn't look like there's anything in the offing. 90 at noon. Mostly sunny skies. High temperature today makes it up to 100. So this will be day number 16 that we've officially hit it here in town. And going into the long holiday weekend, triple digits all the way in through next week. Of course, Sunday, Father's Day, that is the 19th, but the holiday, of course, is on Monday. And then, hey, summer starts. Wouldn't it be funny if temperatures were like 80 at the start of summer? I mean, it's not. But,
it would be awesome as well.
10 degrees the other direction.
We still have all summer.
I can win the lottery too tonight. I mean,
both would be nice.
I think there's probably better odds of winning the lottery than
80s.
Yeah, than
right
80s
now?
in the summertime.
Okay.
524, 75 degrees.
And coming up next in your morning spotlight, first look at Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe.
527, a popular actress who took a turn as a Bond girl and survived Knives Out, portraying one of the most iconic performers ever.
CNN's David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Please come. Don't abandon me.
She's coming. Here's your first look at Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe in Blonde, based on the best-selling speculative novel. De Armas says, "We wanted to tell the human side of her story." Blonde premieres September 23rd on Netflix.
And what about you? Well, I thought this was going to be like a fun boot camp workout thing. But it is not.
Taika Waititi says he put his improv skills away while voicing a character in Lightyear.
Pixar films are very well written. You know, they don't need actors to come in and riff and improvise their way through the entire film.
My family spends every summer in Cousins Beach with my mom's best friend and her two sons, Conrad and Jeremiah.
Lola Tung is caught between two would-be boyfriends in The Summer I Turned Pretty, based on the best-selling novel by Jenny Han, author of To All the Boys I've Loved Before. The teen romantic drama series launches today on Prime Video. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
528, 75 degrees.
And just ahead on GMSA, as the nation is dealing with another shooting, an update on what lawmakers in Washington are now saying after missing a self-imposed gun bill deadline.
Oreo is out with a new limited edition flavor of its iconic cookie. We have details on that straight ahead. Making headlines this morning, the nation is waking up to yet another shooting, this time at a church in Alabama. Details are coming up.
And taking a look outside with live cam, enjoy that 75 degrees for now. We will be reaching the triple digits once again.
And a good morning to you. It is Friday. It is June 17th. The first day of summer is officially on Mike's extended forecast.
I know, next week. I mean, but it feels like it's been happening for the last few weeks already, Mike.
He calls it a moot point.
Yeah, a lot of people are probably going, yeah, so? Who really cares? But it's that much closer to fall then? We'll put it that way. Yeah, whatever. We're trying to spin this as best as possible. We got some mostly clear skies right now. Just a couple of clouds hanging around here this morning. 76 degrees, which is down just a degree or two compared to yesterday. So is the dew point temperature, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere. So it is slightly more comfortable when you step outside this morning. We have temperatures in the metropolitan area. Everybody's mid 70s right now. Kelly Field is the cool spot, if you will, which is a little bit closer to the normal low temperature. Mold is on the low side. Of course, the updated count's going to come out in about a couple of hours or so. And yep, like Steph alluded to, we are going to make it up into the upper 90s, triple digits later on today. This will be day number 16 officially out there at the airport, just in case you're counting. All the details of the long holiday weekend and a look into the first couple of days of officially of summer. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stephen, what's going on in the traffic world?
Well, things are looking just fine over here, Mike. Let's get a look at TransGuide US 98 couples. It is getting busy out there. You know, keep in mind, we always like to mention a lot of these highways we see are gateways to San Antonio. So people traveling in, we tend to see those a little bit. It tends to get a little bit busier as the morning does go on. But there's 410 at Marbach, not looking too bad out there. US 90 at General McMullen, that's going to be a little bit busier later. But let's go ahead and talk about what we are seeing right there on the map. We know that there's a lot of active construction spots, but we also know that we're tracking two different incidents. The first one has been a crash over here off 35 in those northbound lanes, not far from, Poteet-Jordanton Freeway. You can see, though, the progress that's been made is that we're not really seeing any more of a delay there. So just keep that in mind. We're not going to clear it from our map just yet. We're going to have to watch it closely, but let's take a drive a little bit further up because we have a stall there. US 90 eastbound near Nogalitos. So as a reminder, check those vehicles before you get out on the roadways. Gosh, because there have been countless stalls that we've been seeing over the morning. So we would hate for you to be stranded along the highway, especially this early in the morning. But if you are traveling into San Antonio, you are in luck. You can breathe a sigh of relief. 29 minutes on I-10 coming in from Seguin, looking pretty green in those westbound lanes. 33 if you're traveling in from 87 and Lavernia, and about half an hour if you're heading up from Floresville. So no trouble there. And back here in town, no trouble on the roads just yet. We'll see how things shape up as the morning does go on. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephen. New this morning, San Antonio police are investigating what they describe as a wild night both inside and outside a local strip club. It included a fight and a crash, which left 2 officers and 1 patrol car a bit banged up. Katrina Weber is live near Loop 410 and Perrin Vital with that story. Katrina, you mentioned earlier that this began with an attempted arrest.
Well, that's right. Police told us that they were trying to take custody of a man inside this nightclub who had violated a protective order and also had an outstanding warrant, but they say he put up a fight. Well, this was after 3:30 this morning. Police say that they had to call for backup. Those officers who were involved had to call for backup. That is when we saw this parking lot flooded with police. They ended up using a taser on the man. He was checked out by paramedics and also was arrested. The officer suffered some minor bruises. Now, in the meantime, a patrol car also was left with some scars. A suspected drunk driver came along and hit the car on the Loop 410 access road. Police also arrested that man. And the lieutenant assigned to that car, we're told, was not seriously hurt. He was not hurt at all. Police say that this is the second night in a row that they have had trouble at this club. They say the last time they were here, it was a woman who they arrested because they say she used a pepper spray and also punched one of the security officers here. Reporting live on the northeast side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. Also new this morning, San Antonio police say a man's in the hospital after being stabbed 3 times overnight. Happened around 2 this morning at a northwest side apartment complex in the 3400 block of Fredericksburg Road near Babcock. SAPD says the man was walking to his mailbox when another man ran up and tried to rob him. Police say when the victim refused to give the suspect anything, the suspect stabbed him and ran off. The victim managed to get back to his apartment and call for help. This morning, another community is grieving after a deadly shooting.
Police say a suspect opened fire at a church near Birmingham, Alabama, killing at least 2 people. CNN's Amy Kiley reports on how lawmakers in Washington are reacting.
A lot of people are going to be hurting. A lone suspect entered a small group church meeting and began shooting.
An Alabama community is grieving after a deadly shooting yesterday evening.
What we need is for this community to do what it's really good at, which is coming together to take care of each other.
It happened around the same time senators negotiating the text of a gun safety bill missed their self-imposed deadline. They're pausing talks for the weekend. The latest shooting may remind them of the continuing threat.
I've promised that once the text is done, I will put it on the floor as soon as possible.
Now it's unclear if the Senate will be able to vote on gun safety next week. The framework has enough Republican support to pass the Senate if lawmakers agree on the bill's details.
I think we're in a better place in terms of the grants to states that have crisis intervention programs.
I think Senator Cornyn thinks what I believe, which is that the American public is not going to accept nothing as an answer.
One sticking point is whether states have to spend red flag law funding on red flag laws. Those prevent people considered a risk from having firearms. Another involves the boyfriend loophole. It's about whether an unmarried partner can have guns if found guilty of violence against a dating partner.
If there's a little give on both sides, we can get it done.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Newly released data shows abortion rates increased in the U.S. from 2017 to 2020. An abortion rights group found there were more than 930,000 abortions in 2020. That's up from 862,000 in 2017. Data also showed 1 in 5 pregnancies ended in abortion in 2020. That's also up from 2017. According to the group, abortion rates had been decreasing since 1981. Experts have said access to better birth control contributed to the previous decline.
Lyft has agreed to a $25 million settlement with shareholders after being accused of hiding safety problems. The securities suit was filed because investors accused the rideshare company of not disclosing reports of Lyft drivers assaulting female passengers. Because the admissions of possible assault came before its initial public offering, Lyft was accused of trying to appear more socially responsible than its rival Uber. The settlement agreement is pending approval by a federal judge. Lyft continues to deny the allegations.
Time right now, 5:39, 75 degrees.
And details on a recall involving some common over-the-counter medication from Walgreens that could pose a danger to children.
As summer travelers take to the skies, delays and cancellations are on the rise. How major airlines are planning to keep their summer schedules on track.
And taking a look outside with live cam, this is the only break you're going to get from the heat in the early morning hours. We're at 75 degrees. We'll be right back.
Now to summer travel that appears to be getting even worse. Yesterday was one of the worst days yet for recent air travel.
And the peak summer vacation season is just getting underway. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more.
This morning, as summer travelers take to the skies, delays and cancellations are on the rise.
Very frustrating. It's to the point where it's enraging.
Airlines grounded 1,600 flights on Thursday alone as storms swept through some of the nation's busiest airports. According to experts, a rising number of flight cancellations are the result of airlines struggling with staffing shortages, especially pilots. Unions have repeatedly complained there's not enough staff to follow through on the flights that are booked.
The lines are getting longer and longer and longer, which is a good thing. I mean, I'm glad everybody's traveling, with COVID and everything. We're back, but now we need to catch up.
On Thursday, Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg called a virtual meeting with airline CEOs, pushing for details on how they plan to keep their summer schedules on track.
Let them know that, this is a moment when we're really counting on them to deliver reliably for the traveling public.
Still, some worry there could be a repeat of the travel troubles around Memorial Day after nearly 9,000 flights were canceled or delayed over that holiday weekend.
They don't have enough pilots. They haven't trained enough pilots. They are literally canceling flights because they don't have their act together.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
Good luck, travelers. 5:43, and I'm going to be one of them, by the way, very soon. 5:43, 75 degrees.
Petco is opening up a specialized new kind of pet store in the San Antonio area today. We're going to tell you what's different about it next. In your morning consumer headlines, the Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling more than 400,000 medication bottles from Walgreens and Kroger. Now, the bottles contain the pain relievers, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, aspirin, and there's nothing wrong with the medication, but the bottles don't meet standards for child resistance. And that means a child could open them and accidentally ingest the medications inside.
Petco is opening a new group of stores that will cater to a different group of customers, specifically horses, cows, goats, pigs, and sheep. The first Petco neighborhood farm and pet supply store is actually set to open today in Floresville. Petco says the stores will meet the needs of pet and farm animals in small and rural communities. It will carry food products and other services like vaccinations, groomings, and stations to wash farm animals. The stores will also have health and wellness programs to support local pets.
Oreo's latest limited edition flavor is inspired by Neapolitan ice cream. It features triple layers of cream, vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate. And instead of the typical chocolate Oreos, they are sandwiched between two waffle cone flavored cookies.
Ooh.
So the treats go on sale at stores next month. Oreo just keeps reinventing the classic. Last month, it gave away a limited edition mashup treat that was part Oreo cookie and part Ritz cracker.
So apparently Nabisco is not having supply chain issues. They keep rolling out new product.
Yeah, very interesting ones at that.
Would you try it, Stephen?
No, I like oatmeal cookies. I kind of just stick to that. And,
not an Oreo guy?
Not really. Maybe with a glass of milk, but not all the time. I like oatmeal cookies. I just bought some yesterday, actually. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had one this morning, too. So, yeah, don't judge me.
Bring any for your friends?
Yeah, well, maybe tomorrow or Monday. Well, thankfully, we're not spotting any issues out here on the road. If maybe you want to go grab a cookie or maybe a cup of coffee, breakfast taco. Right now, there is a cord right there in the middle of 281, but it's not blocking traffic. You can see things are moving just fine from these shots at TransGuide, but definitely getting a little bit busier. We're inching closer to 6 a.m. minute by minute, so just keep that in mind when we head out the door. Not a whole lot to talk about just yet, but we still have some stalls. This one reported we told you about earlier off US 90 eastbound near Nogalitos. So if you are traveling in from Castroville in those eastbound lanes of 90, you will likely encounter that stall. But that has really been the big problem of the week. So as a quick reminder, if you can contact the HERO program, keep in mind these services are provided to drivers who are stranded along the highway. Now, some of the things that services they provide, adding gasoline and water, perform minor vehicle repairs, jump starting your battery, and of course removing minor crashes from roadways. Their number 210-732-HERO. But again, keep in mind, they only assist those drivers stranded along the highway. But the best thing you could probably do is just to make sure your vehicle is working properly. But right now, looks like things are moving without any trouble so far, guys.
Fantastic. You know, when it comes to Oreos, though,
yes,
the classic, it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the thins, the little thin ones.
You feel less guilty.
Well, but those are, and the lemon ones, the lemon thin Oreos, those are pretty good, too.
They are good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could kill a whole pack of those thin ones and feel great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Little 100-calorie pack. And it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. And not double stuff, and then you take it, eat the cookie. So, all right. And oatmeal cookies sound very good too. So you said Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Make a note of that.
I'll be gone.
Oh.
Yes. You have another fun plant name.
We've got these $5 names here.
How's your Latin?
Hippastrum.
Bless you.
I don't know. It loves the heat, and it's beautiful, and the grasshopper.
Right there. Yep.
Right there.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't see that at first.
Yeah. He is kind of hidden. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect picture. It is nice to see, and some people do love this hot weather, along with the hippastrum, did we come up with? So that's our story. We're going with it on that one. Don't have a whole lot of clouds hanging around here this morning, and we don't have as much humidity as what we had the past couple of mornings. 76 is the current temperature, some upper 60s in parts of the hill country, and overall temperatures are down few degrees compared to this time yesterday. It is going to be every bit as hot. Slightly lower humidity just means we can heat up that much more quickly this morning. We will bottom out right around 75 degrees and then, of course, get up to 80 at 9 o'clock, all the way through the 80s to 90 at noon. And add on another 10 degrees, 100 for a high temperature later on today. Winds out of the southeast about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Again, this will be the 16th day that we've hit 100 degrees. The one little fly in the ointment, if you will, as far as the forecast today is later on this afternoon. This particular computer model wants to scare up 1 or 2 stray little showers here and there. Sarah Spivey and I were talking about it yesterday. I don't think it's a very good chance at it, but again, this model does have that small little chance, and then it sort of disappears. So I wouldn't really count on it. Don't have anything necessarily formal in the forecast for it, but just a mention of that there may be, again, 1 or 2 little stray showers, especially further on down to the south, down along the coastal plain later on today. Now, as far as big picture, once again, everything is pretty much up there to the north of us, moving just about straight west to east. There's a couple of disturbances along the Gulf Coast there off to the east of us, but for us, again, it is that high which is in place, and that's what's keeping everything away from us. It's sitting on top of us. The best way to describe it's like a dome, a cake dome, keeping everything away from that, and that is not going to move. And we also have sort of a block set up there, and as you can see, those upper level wind lines where they're kind of a little bit tighter in here, big low off to the west, big low off to the east, that is as what's called an omega block. Looks like the Greek letter omega, and that doesn't let anything really move all that much. So the high stays in place, pushing down on the atmosphere, keeping us very hot. This is going to keep us in triple-digit temperatures. The hope being, though, that as time goes on into next week, that we would get more of a flow off the Gulf of Mexico. Hopefully, maybe some little waves develop out there. Notice I keep saying hopefully, because looking at a lot of long-range computer models, nothing, at least in the next week to 10 days. 90 at noon today, mostly sunny skies. High temperature makes it up to 100. And of course, we're going to be just in the low hundreds off to the west. And heat index won't be a huge issue today, with the humidity dropping down somewhat in the afternoon. Triple digits all the way across the board once again. Of course, Father's Day on Sunday. Do your last minute shopping, folks. And this is a long holiday weekend. And then, of course, summer officially begins on Tuesday.
Happy Father's Day in advance.
And you too, sir.
You as well.
Thank you very much. 5:53, 75 degrees. We've got all your lottery numbers.
Go ahead and look at them. Pick 3, 201, Fireball 3, Daily 4, 4729, Fireball 3.
Cash 5, 9, 19, 21, 27, 29. Texas two-step 1, 5, 6, 19 with a bonus ball of 35.
And good morning. Nice to see you. We'll, of course, begin with the tough news headlines overnight. You've been talking about it. Another deadly shooting in the U.S. Breaking news overnight. This time in Alabama church, gunman opening fire, killing 2 people and injuring 1. The suspect now in custody. We're live. Of course, we are on the scene with this latest in the investigation. Also, Wall Street on edge. Stocks plummeting. The latest fallout from the Fed's interest rate hike. So what we're going to talk about is what it means for your retirement and the money you have in the bank right now. That's coming up on GMA. We'll see you in just a second.
Ahead in the next hour, GMSA U.S. officials are a step closer to bringing WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange back to the U.S. New developments that just happened in the last few hours in London. They could soon have Assange facing espionage charges here. Also, we take a closer look at some of the myths associated with infertility that many people are unaware of. Plus, the latest on a large grass fire on the south side of town. Firefighters have been out there all night. We'll have an update from Jonathan Cotto. And Stephen Cavazos is tracking traffic as the sun is trying to come up over South Texas on a Friday morning.
A grass fire on the south side has been burning through the night. Fire crews keeping a close eye on it. We're going to have a live report coming up.
Plus, what the Bexar County Sheriff has ordered to make sure his deputies are equipped to respond to mass shooting events at all times.
And taking a look outside with live cam, a little humid, not that humid, but 75 degrees still.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts
right now.
Good morning. It is June 17th, otherwise known as Friday morning.
Yes, happy Friday. Thanks for joining us, and happy early Father's Day. Hope you guys are planning a wonderful weekend, but maybe indoors in the afternoon hours.
The extreme heat continues, and we're still not even officially at the first full day of summer, which happens next week. Mike is joining us now with more on the continued hot streak.
Yes, indeed. This morning, though, let's talk about the positive. It is slightly lower humidity.
75?
Yes, and slightly lower temperatures. Normal low is 73, so we're closer to that. A bit more comfortable. We don't obviously have as much in the way of clouds out there, so looks like a decent sunrise. A few clouds will be forming up later on, however. And as far as temperatures right now, 73 Bulverde, 72 New Braunfels. Actually, overall, I mean, got even a couple of more 60s on the map right there. And overall, these numbers are down 2, 3, 4 degrees in some places compared to this time yesterday. And also these numbers, the dew points, the measure moisture, are down compared to yesterday by 2, 3, 4 degrees on average, which, you know, you get around Rio Medina, 62 Comfort, 63 Bandera. That's getting close to really comfortable on the scale anytime you're below 60. So not bad. I wouldn't get used to it, but at least it's a little bit of a nice way to start off the Friday morning. Mold is on the low side. Of course, the updated count's going to be coming out in just about, say, an hour, hour and a half or so. So, yeah, temperatures will dip down another degree or two. 75. Closer to the normal low temperature, but then we heat up very quickly once again today. We'll make it all the way up through the 80s and up to 90 today at noon. And then we are going to be topping off once again at 100, day number 16, just in case you are keeping track. I have more details on the long holiday weekend and what to expect for first day of summer. Doesn't really matter this year that the summer's Tuesday. Anyway, details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Mr. Cavazos, what's going on?
Flashing lights, Mike, 410 at Marbach. Let's get a look right there at TransGuide. You can see this is along the access road, and unfortunately, that is a crash we are looking at. So I'll step out of the shot and give you a look at what you can expect in that area, because it does look like traffic is down just to one lane there, and you can see a few of those vehicles navigating their way, taking it slow, which is, of course, always that best way to go anytime you see a first responder out there. Now, unclear exactly how many vehicles are involved or if the driver faced any injuries, but I did notice that there are some people walking along this area. So it's still very dark out there. You got to make sure you drive carefully. Now, we're going to pinpoint that right there on the map because that is right in the southbound lanes of 410. Thankfully, we're not seeing a delay just yet if you are heading in the area, but just make sure you drive carefully out there. Let's get a wide look at the map because nothing else to talk about other than those stalls. We're seeing a new one that we're adding to that list near 410 over there by Crossroads. So you got to make sure you're checking those vehicles because that has been a problem that we continue to see throughout the last few days. So just as a reminder, check those vehicles and watch for those stranded motorists out there. If you are traveling into San Antonio, well, you are in luck. We have some relief for the journey from Boerne right now. 24 minutes on I-10 in those eastbound lanes. It's going to be about a 27-minute drive on 281 coming in from Bulverde, and it's not awful coming in from New Braunfels. 25 minutes on I-35 southbound. I got to credit that rhyme to our producer Hardy because we were trying to find out what rhymes with New Braunfels, but thankfully we are green across the board here. No need to worry. But back here, 410 at Marbach, just make sure you drive carefully. Good news is this is on the access road. Hopefully we'll have a better update in the next few minutes. Mark, Stephanie.
Thank you, sir. New this morning, San Antonio firefighters remain on the scene of a massive fire burning through a field on the city's south side. And we are learning the fire was able to quickly spread, presenting some pretty significant threats to surrounding areas.
And our Jonathan Cotto joins us live at the scene. Good morning, Jonathan. We understand this fire started yesterday afternoon. So what's the situation looking like right now?
Good morning, Stephanie. Well, I can tell you we're seeing and smelling a lot of smoke, and that's just one of the challenges firefighters are dealing with this morning. But we're told that the situation this morning is de-escalating with just a small amount of fire crews remaining on scene and keeping this fire under control. But let's take a look at what firefighters were up against last night. We know it was definitely an intense situation as flames quickly spread out over 200 acres. Now, this all started shortly after 7 p.m. yesterday. Video images from San Antonio Police Department helicopter shows just how far the fire was able to spread. We know that flames got really close to some homes in the surrounding areas. We spoke with San Antonio Fire Department's Joe Arrington, who was able to provide some information. Let's take a listen.
We were able to
can get crews here so quickly on scene and keep that fire from going into any of the neighborhoods. There are a couple of new neighborhoods to the far west flank of the fire that are under construction. It doesn't appear anyone is living in that area yet because it's a brand new development. So we have crews working, heading it off on the west side right now. That's where our main focus is at this hour.
Now that fire also inching its way pretty close to a fuel storage facility here right next door to this field. Now it's important to mention that Bexar County has also stepped in to assist in supplying brush trucks and manpower here this morning. It's important to also mention that the weather was also favorable in keeping this fire under control. Reporting live from the city's south side, Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Jonathan. Happening today, the Texas committee investigating the Robb Elementary shooting could possibly hear from members of the Uvalde Police Department. This as day 2 of testimony is set to get underway later this morning.
However, hearing from members of the city's police department is not set in stone. According to the committee chair, the Uvalde Consolidated ISD Police Department is being cooperative, but he says they still have questions for the city police department. It's still unknown if the department will voluntarily go before the committee. The House committee chair does have the power to authorize subpoenas. So far, no word on if that will be the case.
Yesterday, the committee heard from several witnesses from Uvalde CISD, including the superintendent and the principal of Robb Elementary behind closed doors. As far as today's hearing, we're going to let you know, of course, what happens on air and online at KSAT.com.
Well, as testimony continues in front of lawmakers today in Uvalde, leaders here in San Antonio are learning lessons from the tragedy. Our Stefania Jimenez sat down with Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar, who says BCSO is working to issue all patrol deputies more tactical equipment to ensure each one is prepared at all times. That equipment includes ballistic shields, battering rams, and sledgehammers.
In an active shooter situation, when seconds count, many times bullets are still flying. There's still smoke in the air when the first responders arrive. Those first responders usually patrol deputies. And so we're now putting tools in the hands of our patrol deputies that are typically seen deployed with a SWAT team.
The sheriff says his deputies also know if there's an active shooter, do not wait for the SWAT team. He says their goal is to get in immediately and neutralize the threat. Sheriff Salazar also says he supports red flag laws, which will allow law enforcement to temporarily seize weapons from those who are considered a threat. Right now, 19 states and D.C. have red flag laws on the books. Texas does not.
And we have some international breaking news. UK authorities have approved Julian Assange's extradition back to the U.S. The courts there giving its approval today. Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, is wanted here in the U.S. for allegedly releasing thousands of secret files back in 2010. He is looking at 18 charges, including breaking espionage laws. Assange has spent the last 3 years in a London prison. We're going to have more on this story in our later newscast and on KSAT.com.
Back here at home, Seguin city officials announcing they've chosen a new chief of police. Jason Brady will take over the helm of the department. Seguin city manager making the announcement in a press release. Brady, a 29-year veteran, comes to Seguin from Rollingwood, Texas, located in the Austin Round Rock metro area. He's been serving as chief there since 2019. Brady fills the vacancy left by the retirement of Seguin's former chief, Terry Nichols, who retired this month. Brady begins the new role in mid-August.
And the city of Schertz also announcing a new chief for its fire department. Assistant Fire Chief Greg Rogers has been promoted to chief, effective July 1st. Now, Rogers has been with the department since 2019, serving as assistant chief. He says he is honored and humbled by this new opportunity. Rogers will pick up where former Chief Kay Long left off following his retirement.
Congratulations. 609, 75 degrees.
And the European luxury car announces it's going electric. Still to kind of find out about the electric models the company will offer in the next 2.5 years.
A local spelling bee champ continues to ride the wave of fame. San Antonio's own Harini Logan making her late night talk show debut. That's coming up after the break.
And taking a look outside with a live cam, we're at 75 degrees for now, looking a little hazy out there. We'll be right back. Welcome back at 6:13. Chilling new details revealed during the third January 6th public hearing yesterday.
The hearing focused on significant pressure former President Trump and his allies put on Vice President Mike Pence to overturn the 2020 election results.
ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington with the details.
The January 6th committee's third public hearing reconstructed in great detail the immense pressure campaign former President Donald Trump waged on his own vice president in private and in public to name him the winner of the 2020 election he lost.
Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us.
Former White House aides and Mike Pence's legal counsel testifying. The pressure only grew intense as Pence rebuffed the efforts, telling Trump the vice president does not have the power to overturn a presidential election. But on the morning of January 6th, Trump calling Pence from the Oval Office.
The conversation was pretty heated.
I remember hearing the word wimp. According to the committee, even though conservative attorney John Eastman was among multiple advisors and White House lawyers who told Trump the plan to overturn the election result was illegal, Eastman still aggressively pushed the scheme, later asking for a presidential pardon unsuccessfully. Trump, meanwhile, stoking his supporters by repeatedly attacking Mike Pence at the January 6th rally, and again with this tweet saying Pence lacked courage. This as the angry mob stormed the Capitol. Trump's own aides shocked.
It felt like he was pouring gasoline on the fire by tweeting that.
These images showing Pence and his family hiding, then moving to an underground parking garage when the angry mob came within 40 feet of the vice president. Pence eventually certifying the election result for Biden after consulting with widely respected conservative judge Michael Luttig.
That declaration of Donald Trump as the next president would have plunged America into what I believe would have been tantamount to a revolution.
And as the committee plans its next hearing on Tuesday, they want to hear from Ginny Thomas, a strong Trump backer and wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. There are questions about her role in the effort to overturn the election. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
And the media blitz for San Antonio native and spelling bee champion Harini Logan continued last night as she made an appearance on late night TV on Jimmy Kimmel Live. So we know Jimmy likes to showcase his guests' special talents and skills. So she competed in an unconventional spelling bee with Guillermo Rodriguez, and it was Mike Tyson who chose those words for her to spell. Here's a look.
Let's do it together, Mike. Okay. Misky Boos.
Voo.
Yeah, Misky Boos.
Misky Voo.
Misky
Voo.
Yeah.
Misky Voo.
Yeah. Yeah. Misky Voo. Yeah. You want the definition?
Misky.
Yeah. Yes, please. The act of being Misky Boos.
Oh my gosh.
And as you can see, Harini held her composure and again represented San Antonio very well.
The fact that they're wearing bee costumes
for the spelling bee
wasn't at all distracting at all.
No.
Yeah, that's lots of fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
and she was still waiting for some sort of credible tip on what the word was actually supposed to be.
Yes, she was giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Oh boy, that's fun. Let's check on traffic. 616. Stephen, how's it going?
Shout out to her composure. I would not be able to hold it together. Thankfully, elsewhere around town, 37 at Fair Avenue, things haven't been too bad as we get a look at TransGuide, bringing it back to that shot. 35 at Pine. We're getting closer to morning rush, but keep in mind, there are a few issues out there that we want you to be aware of before you get your day started and get out on the road. We're still seeing this crash off Loop 410 southbound at Marbach. Now, the good news is this is along the Axis Road, so drivers that are making their way through won't encounter any major issues along the highway. But keep in mind, those first responders are still out there, so we have to make sure we are giving them plenty of room, not causing a slowdown just yet, but we can expect that to change if crews are still out there and as more people get out on the roads. Let's get a wide look at the map. We talked about how stalls have been that trending trouble over the last few days, but we also know lots of construction taking place. And this one, as a quick reminder, also on 410, taking place on the west side of San Antonio, drainage work that continues to take place. That is wrapping today, but should start around 9 in the morning, finish around 5 in the afternoon. Expect a full closure of the southbound and northbound turnaround near State Highway 151. But that information is posted on our website at ksat.com/traffic. Just scroll to the bottom of the page. You'll find a list of closures there, but here things are looking fine. No worries just yet, but we'll see how the morning shapes up.
At least they kept it to 3 syllables. Mischievous. Instead of adding the fourth that a lot of people do.
What did they call it? Mischievous?
Mischievous.
Yeah.
Yes, they made it.
She's like, what? They gave it the definition.
Oh my God.
The act of or being mischievous, yeah. Which narrowed it down.
Yeah.
It was cute.
That's pretty good, though. All right, outside we've got, notice this picture, though. It's looking a little fuzzy out there, and that's due to probably a lot of that, the haze and not as much humidity this morning. 76 degrees right now, and kind of unusual to see even 3 numbers in the 60s on this map, which it's a little more pleasant thanks to that top number, which is at 69 right now, the dew point temperature, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, as opposed to being up into the 70s. 2-3 degrees does make a lot of difference when you get that much humidity out there. All right, we've been showing some of the pictures of some of the plants that folks have sent on in here. This one we did show earlier, and let me sweep in here, and there we've got the desert roses. That's the one I was wanting to show. And they love the heat as well, although the photographer does not. They're right there with you. But beautiful picture. Thank you very much for the KSAT Connect shot there. All right, we do have some Saharan dust around here, and the good news is at least it is going to be going away over the next about 24 to 36 hours. So in the overnight hours in through tomorrow morning, this is going to start to thin out somewhat. So we're not going to have that orangey looking haze out there as we go on into the weekend. So that's a little bit of a benefit. However, as we roll into the middle part of next week, it does look like another somewhat of a surge is going to be coming on in here as far as the Saharan dust. So we're not completely done with that. Then you go upstairs in the atmosphere, and there's a little bit of extra moisture up here. Not a heck of a lot, but that adds to sort of that milky shade to the sky. And then you got the dust to mix in with that as well. 80 today at 9 o'clock with, well, we don't have as much in the way of cloud cover this morning, so that's just going to allow things to heat up that much more quickly. We'll be up to 90 at noon, and then we are going to be topping off at 100 later on today, so it will be day number 16 of the triple-digit temperatures officially out there at the airport. Satellite picture, and again, past couple of mornings we've seen a few of these low clouds, that little dark shade of gray. It's not really showing up that much this morning. One thing, though, when you look at the whole big picture, boy, there is just nothing going on around here. All of the activity is well up to the north of us. And even notice how some of these showers being picked up there off to the west are almost taking a clockwise rotation. That's because of that big high, which is sitting on top of us. And that thing just is not going anywhere. It's stuck in place for at least about the next week. So our weather's not going to be changing for at least the next week. 90 at noon today, mostly sunny skies. High temperature, again, makes it up to 100 today. By the way, we did hit 102 yesterday. And then going into the long weekend, yep, we're going to be seeing triple digits all the way through the weekend into next week. Of course, Father's Day Sunday, Juneteenth, yes, officially on Sunday, but the holiday is Monday. And then summer. Kind of forgot about that, you know?
First day of summer?
Yeah, Tuesday
Yeah,
morning.
it feels like we blew past that over a month ago.
Yes.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. So obviously, calendar and weather have not been in sync this year. So.
Well,
but you've got
Hey, and look at it this way, the days start getting shorter after Tuesday.
Yes,
They do.
And you also talked about it, we're closer to fall.
We are closer to fall. And in a couple weeks, I'll start counting down to Christmas
Please
for
don't.
you. You're welcome.
Please don't.
Yeah. 621, about 75 degrees.
Don't encourage.
Just ahead, workers at a recycling company set a Guinness record. The message behind this domino-like setup and fall.
Moderate to severe eczema still disrupts my skin. Despite treatment, it disrupts my skin with itch. It disrupts my skin with rash. But now, I can disrupt eczema with Rinvoq. Rinvoq is not a steroid, topical, or injection. It's one pill once a day that's effective without topical steroids. Many taking Rinvoq saw clear or almost clear skin, while some saw up to 100% clear skin. Plus, they felt fast itch relief, some as early as 1 week. That's Rinvoq Relief.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Disrupts the itch and rash of eczema. Talk to your eczema specialist about Rinvoq.
Learn how AbbVie can help you save.
All right, in today's Tech Bites, Elon Musk addressed Twitter employees for the first time since announcing plans to buy the platform. Musk told them he wants Twitter to be a place for free speech. He said he prefers to have employees in the office, but added if somebody is exceptional at their job, they may work remotely.
Ferrari says 60% of its cars will be electrified by 2026. It is aiming to launch 15 new models by then, spending over $4 billion developing hybrids or all electric vehicles. It hopes to be carbon neutral by 2030.
An old record literally fell in Indianapolis. Workers at a recycling company set a Guinness record, toppling more than 2,900 laptops like dominoes. There it goes. They hope the feat highlights the importance of recycling electrical waste.
Must have been noisy.
Yeah, right?
Time now, 6:26 and 75 degrees for now.
Well, June is World Infertility Awareness Month. Coming up, we'll share with you some of the myths surrounding infertility.
And trouble unfolds in several ways this morning at a Northeast Side strip club, including a man who refuses to let San Antonio police put him in handcuffs. Katrina Weber will join us live with the details.
And checking the roads with TransGuide, flashing lights down below Marbach at 410. Stephen Cavazos will have an update coming up right here on GMSA. We're approaching the bottom of the hour and we'll be right back. Outside with live cam, kind of a hazy sunshine as we begin our Friday. Saharan dust is hanging around as we head into the Father's Day weekend and Juneteenth. And a good morning to you. It is Friday, June 17th.
Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. That haze won't help with the heat later today. It's going to be hot as scheduled.
As scheduled.
Yes.
And I've heard people sniffling and sneezing and have to assume that part of that has to do with the dust that's in the air.
You know, I would think so, because the other day when it was starting to really thicken up, it's almost like I couldn't clear my throat that well. I have a feeling it was due to that. So as far as any other allergens, just mold is showing up. But that's not a very pretty picture at all. And yeah, here's the reason why. We do have the Saharan dust in place. At least this is going to start to kind of thin out in the overnight hours and by the weekend. So it's not going to be quite as bad out there. Temperatures are actually down a couple of degrees compared to yesterday in the past few mornings. We've got a lot of 60s on the map right now. 76 here in town. The normal average low temperature is 73. Also, the humidity is down ever so slightly compared to the past couple of days. All of these numbers were in the 70s yesterday, so I mean, we've actually got some low 60s out there. It's not bad. Comfort, Bandera, Rio Medina, 69 for a dew point temperature. Measure moisture here in town. But with that slightly dry air, yes, it just makes it heat up that much more easily. Plus, we don't have a lot of cloud cover out there right now. Mold is on the low side. The updated count's going to come out in about half hour, 45 minutes or so. So not quite as humid this morning. I mean, it's still out there, but we'll take any little bit of relief we can get. Mostly sunny, hazy, 100 again today. We are going to keep the triple digits around. Again, not as hazy this weekend, but still very, very hot. And we're just going to keep chalking up the triple digits all the way into next week. Any relief in sight, we will take a look coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Mr. Cavazos, what's up?
Hey, we're keeping an eye on this, Mike. 410 at Marbach. We told you about this earlier. A crash that was reported near the southwest side, but you can see as we bring you in, first responders have actually closed that turnaround there, so no traffic through that turnaround at 410. Keep in mind, we are seeing also some pedestrians that are walking. There's a crosswalk in that direction, flashing lights. There's a lot going on there, and good news is this is along the access road, but we're not sure exactly what caused this crash or if the driver faced any injuries. But of course, we are hoping that they are okay, but you got to watch out for those pedestrians and first responders working to clear this thing up. So we're seeing it along the access road. It's in the southbound lanes of Marbach, and thankfully we've not seen a slowdown just yet, but it is getting a little bit busier as the morning is rolling on, so just keep that in mind. Let's get a wide look at the map. Thankfully, nothing else to talk about. Stalls are still that trending trouble right now. You can see this one had just popped up there, US 90 near Loop 1604, but elsewhere looking okay. So if you are going to be traveling, just make sure you stay vigilant for those first responders who are out there. We'll continue to watch this throughout the morning. And again, hoping we have a better update as the morning does go on. Guys.
Thank you, Stephen. He is accused of fighting with San Antonio police inside a Northeast Side strip club, and it happened early this morning near Loop 410 and Perrin-Bottle Road.
Katrina Weber is there with a live report. Katrina, we understand there was also a commotion outside.
Well, that's right. Police say in the middle of dealing with the fight inside Diamond Show Club here, They also had a suspected drunk driver who came along and hit one of their patrol cars outside. Now, it doesn't appear anyone was hurt in that crash, but police say that a couple of officers did suffer some bruises inside the club. The suspect also had to be checked out by paramedics after police used a taser on him. They say they were responding to a call after 3:30 this morning from someone accusing that man of violating a protective order. Officers realized he also had an outstanding warrant, and they say when they tried to arrest him, he put up a fight. Police eventually got him into custody. They also arrested the suspected drunk driver who hit the patrol car. His truck was left with a whole lot of front-end damage, but again, doesn't look like any officers were hurt in the crash. The police say this is the second time this week that they have been here for trouble at this club. They say earlier this week they arrested a woman who used pepper spray and also punched one of the security officers here. Reporting live on the northeast side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Katrina. New this morning, 2 people were hurt overnight after their SUV hit an 18-wheeler on Interstate 35. It happened around 2 a.m. this morning on the interstate near Randolph Boulevard. Police say the impact of the crash caused the SUV to roll over, and police say a man and woman inside that SUV were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Now we're told the driver of the big rig pulled over further down the road.
Also new this morning, a man walking to his mailbox early this morning was stabbed 3 times. Happened just after 2 at the Fredericksburg Place Apartments in the 3400 block of Fredericksburg Road near Babcock on the northwest side. San Antonio police say another man ran up to the victim and attempted to rob him. When the victim refused to give him anything, the suspect stabbed him in the stomach. Officers say the victim managed to run back to his apartment to call 911 for help. He was taken to a hospital. We have no word on his condition.
This morning, more deadly gun violence leaving another community shaken. This time, it's a shooting at a church near Birmingham.
2 people are dead, 1 wounded, and the gunman was taken into custody. The country is still reeling from mass shootings in Buffalo and in Uvalde, where lawmakers are looking at the police response to the school massacre, are hearing from more witnesses, including the school's principal.
ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi has more.
This morning, police want to know why a gunman stormed a church potluck dinner before opening fire on the crowd.
Active shooter situation, multiple patients at this time, at least 3 patients. Scene is not secure.
According to police, the shooter ran into a church in Vestavia Hills outside Birmingham just after 6 p.m. Thursday and shot at least 3 people, killing 2 of the victims. People jumping into action, holding down the suspect until police arrived.
Shooter's been held down. They've got the shooter restrained.
Deeply moved by the radical support of love from many people reaching out from all over the country.
America's latest shooting tragedy comes as Senate negotiators say they have nearly agreed on the text of the bill to curb gun violence in the U.S. Senator John Cornyn, the lead Republican negotiator, is hinting the deal could fall apart if they drag on, saying it's now or never.
There are a couple of issues that need to be settled.
In Cornyn's home state of Texas, the Uvalde School Police Department is facing new scrutiny for their response to the elementary school mass shooting that left 19 children dead.
The most respectful thing that I think we can do is to try to get some of those lingering questions answered for the people in this city.
A legislative committee is investigating why officers waited 77 minutes before going into the classroom where students were trapped with the shooter. The committee speaking to 5 witnesses Thursday, including the principal, the school superintendent, and a custodian.
Are you commenting, Superintendent?
While the superintendent avoided questions after the hearing, the school's principal broke her silence.
They're going to compile a report. I'm just concerned for my families and my kids.
Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, New York.
And here at home, we have an update for you. After months of infighting and failed negotiations, the San Antonio Symphony is no more. The board has decided to dissolve the symphony and file for bankruptcy. This is happening 9 months after a musician's strike. Their statement says in part, quote, "The musicians union has made it clear there is no prospect of the resumption of negotiations absent the board agreeing to a budget that is millions of dollars in excess of what the symphony can afford," end quote. Now, musicians turned down a, quote, "last best and final offer that would have reduced staff pay and health care benefits." The chair of the musicians of the San Antonio Symphony says the community has shown it will support an orchestra.
While it's very sad that such a proud organization with such a long history has ended in this way, the intent of the founders of the Symphony Society of San Antonio will be carried forward by the musicians.
And the chair says the group still intends to play concerts in the fall. If you want more information on the award-winning KSAT Explained series, has a closer look at the San Antonio Symphony and the musicians' strike. You can watch it right now on KSAT.com or our free KSAT Plus app.
Morning sports. Jason Tatum and the Celtics were 3-0 in the postseason, were facing elimination, trying to make it 4-0 and force a Game 7 in the NBA Finals back to Golden State. Tatum drives, then pulls back and pops the jumper, and the Celtics are up by 12 early last night, but the Golden State Warriors fought back. Draymond Green in the corner for his first three of the series. Then Jordan Poole banks home another three, and the Warriors close on an 11-0 run. Warriors up 54-39 at the half last night. In the second half, Warriors hit their first 6 shots of the third, and they were all threes. Curry accounted for 3 of those 6, and this one gives the Warriors their largest lead of the game so far at 22. Celtics show life at the end. Al Horford catches down low, puts it up in and gets the foul. Boston goes on a 16-4 run, and it's a 10-point Warriors lead going to the fourth. Jaylen Brown connects on the 3, and the lead is down to 8. But Curry, looking for his first Finals MVP, nails another 3. He was 6 from 10 downtown, had 32 points. Golden State Warriors win their 4th title in 8 years last night. The final 103-90, and Curry takes home the Bill Russell MVP award. So the series is over in Boston.
Well, congrats to the Warriors. I went to bed, they were ahead, but I wasn't sure how it was going to play out because, we go to bed early.
And we both thought it could go 7.
A lot of people did. So, yeah, you're
Congratulations to Mr. Curry and the Warriors.
Yes. Time now, 6:40, 75 degrees for now. And according to the CDC, 1 in 5 women in the U.S. has difficulty getting pregnant. After the break, we're going to separate fact from fiction when it comes to infertility. And welcome back at 6:43. June is World Infertility Awareness Month, and in the U.S., about 6.7 million people each year have trouble when it comes to getting pregnant.
So many struggling with infertility. There can be a lot of misinformation. Sarah Costa tries to debunk some myths about it.
Before you can get here, you have to get here, but the path isn't always an easy one. 1 in 8 couples has trouble getting pregnant. But is fertility always a woman's issue?
In fact, 50% of the time, it is the man's problem.
On average, 30% of infertility cases can be attributed solely to the female, 30% solely to the male, 30% a combination of both parents, and in 10% of cases, the cause is unknown. So what about age? There's a lot of talk about women's age when it comes to infertility, but a study out of Israel found men's age matters as well. Semen quality peaked between the ages of 30 and 35, and overall semen quantity was found to be lowest after age 55. And if you already have 1 kid, could you have infertility issues trying for a second?
About 11% of the reproductive population has secondary infertility. Secondary infertility is the inability for couples who they're having difficulty having a child after they've already conceived the first time.
Experts say about 30% of infertility happens after the first child is born, and a study in Italy found plastics may be behind some infertility problems. Researchers found infertile couples had higher levels of a chemical commonly found in plastics, something that's known to cause low sperm count. I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
It's now 6:45.
Let's go ahead and check in with Stephen Cavazos on this Friday morning.
Well, we still have this problem at 410 at Marbach. We've talked about it now for over an hour. Came in around 6 a.m., but let's get a look around town and see what you can expect for that early morning drive. There's 35 at Ben Zingelman. I think there was something wrong with that camera shot, but you can see there at 281 at 410. Nothing major, but we do have that cord right in the middle of the shot, not causing any issues with traffic, though. Let's take you to the map because, as I mentioned, as we just saw on that TransGuide camera, flashing lights there at 410. Southbound lanes not far from Marbach Road. Now, the thing is with this crash, it's along the access road, so you'll likely see those first responders out there. The turnaround closure still closed at this time, but you're not going to see any delays along the highway. Just remember, stay focused on the road. Let's go ahead and give you that wide look at the map. Nothing else really to talk about, and so that's some good news for anybody that has to head out the door in the next few moments, but stalls, of course, still the trending trouble right now, so check your vehicles. But back here on TransGuide, things look like they're moving just fine. I know a lot of us are ready to drive off into the weekend. Guys?
We are. Thank you, Stephen.
You
But if
can
you're driving
barely
off into
tell.
the sunset.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, you can
sunset.
barely tell what that is.
Wow, what is that? It looks great.
I think it's the sunset from
I
yesterday.
think so.
Because we had clouds in the morning, but I mean, that's all that lovely Saharan dust. out there,
yeah.
so.
Looks like Dune.
It does.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you for the picture. That really, I mean, that tells the whole story about all this Saharan dust, and it is going to be sticking around today as well. And you can kind of see it in that picture. First of all, the lens is pretty dirty, probably from all that dust out there. We don't have as much in the way of clouds this morning as what we've had the past couple of mornings, but of course, this dust is still in place. Now, the good news is it is going to start to thin out as we go into tonight as well as tomorrow. Just a little bit of it here and there, but nowhere near as thick. And then the rest of the long holiday weekend should be pretty dust-free as far as that little orange glow, although it's not going to last forever because long-range model does have by midweek more of that dust starting to come back into the picture around here. As far as temperatures, we will drop down another degree or two this morning and then start to warm up. Actually, it's a bit more comfortable this morning when you step outside as far as the humidity is concerned. We're going to make it up to 80 today at 9 o'clock and add 10 to that by noon. Plenty of sunshine, that hazy sunshine, a little bit of moisture aloft in the atmosphere, plus, again, all the Saharan dust out there. We are going to top off at 100 and then start to, well, don't know if you can really call that cooling down by 6 o'clock, but 98 degrees as we go into the early evening hours. All right, nothing's really going on as far as we are concerned. Big clump of clouds right there off to the northeast of us around the mid-Mississippi Valley and some storms there, but they're pretty much moving straight west to east, and that's the way the whole pattern is going around here. As far as the tropics are concerned, well, there's nothing really going on. Hurricane Center does have a 10% chance that little batch of clouds right there off the coast of Central America could develop into something over the next couple of days. As far as any direction, nothing as of yet, but it looks like it would just sort of languish down here, well down to the south of us. Now, the hope would be is that the high, which is now stuck in place, because if you kind of look at the upper level wind lines there, a big low over right around Hudson Bay, and then also off to the northeast is forming what's known as an omega block. And what this means is nothing really moves along all that quickly, if at all. So the high, which is pushing down the atmosphere, this is what is the culprit keeping us so hot around here. This thing ain't going nowhere, pardon my grammar. And again, like I said, the hope though is as it slides off to the east a little bit more and the clockwise rotation around that it would pick up something maybe trying to develop here in the Gulf or in the Caribbean and throw it in our direction. Again, that's the wishful thinking as of right now, but long-range computer models are not encouraging at all for any major or minor changes to this whole pattern. 90 at noon, mostly sunny skies, hazy sunshine today, 100 high temperature, be day number 16, and we'll just keep chalking them up. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, to your husband, of course, Louise.
Thank you.
And of course, Sunday's the 19th, holidays on Monday, and first day of summer.
On Tuesday. Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
We care about Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Yes, and
both of you guys.
And the days start getting shorter starting Tuesday, technically.
That's good news.
Yeah, but then the hottest time of the year historically comes up in August.
Oh boy, you could have skipped that part, but that's okay. 6:50, part of the job. 74 degrees out at the airport.
And for some people, staying sober may feel impossible. Tomorrow on GMSA, how you can live life after alcohol.
Well, as typical on a Friday, the morning show has flown by as we take a look at the sun coming right at your screen on TransGuide out there at 410. We'll wrap up GMSA after this.
And good morning. Nice to see you. We'll, of course, begin with the tough news headlines overnight. You've been talking about it. Another deadly shooting in the U.S. Breaking news overnight. This time in Alabama church. Gunman opening fire, killing 2 people and injuring 1. The suspect now in custody. We're live. Of course, we are on the scene with this latest in the investigation. Also, Wall Street on edge. Stocks plummeting. The latest fallout from the Fed's interest rate hike. So what we're going to talk about is what it means for your retirement and the money you have in the bank right now. That's coming up on GMA. We'll see you in just a second.
Trouble inside this northeast side strip club brings police to this area, but they also find they have a problem outside. Good morning, I'm Katrina Weber. Well, their trouble involved a fight inside this club and a crash here on the access road. This is near Loop 410 and Perrin Vital. The police originally got the call to Diamond Show Club around 3:30 this morning. They were looking for a man who allegedly violated a protective order and also had an outstanding warrant. Police say that man put up a fight with the officers. They had to call for backup. In the meantime, those officers did suffer some bruises in that scuffle with the man. They also used a taser on the man, who then had to be checked out by paramedics. Now, they did get him into custody, but during that whole thing, police also had to deal with a crash out here on the access road. They say a suspected drunk driver came along and hit one of their patrol cars. They also took that man into custody. And police say this is the second time within the past 2 days that they've been at this nightclub for trouble. They say earlier this week, a woman punched and used pepper spray on a security officer here. Reporting from the northeast side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
5 minutes till 7.
Go ahead and check back with Stephen Cavazos. Still problems off of Loop 410 in Marbach?
No, look, we got good news. 410 at Marbach, that just cleared. But let's get a quick look around town before we wrap things up here. It is Friday. People are ready to drive off into the weekend, maybe a long holiday weekend as well. Thankfully, nothing major is going to slow you down, but it is getting busier. So keep that in mind when you head out the door in the next few moments. That crash that we talked about earlier was in the southbound lanes of 410, not far from Marbach, but that has cleared. Why look at the map just shows a bunch of stalls out there. So check your vehicles. And Mike Osterhage, I brought my sunglasses today.
You will need them, and something, and then you got, I don't know what helps out with the haze out there, but there's plenty of it, as you can see in that live cam shot. 75 degrees right now, so hey, we're within 2 notches of the normal low, believe it or not. 100, however, hazy sunshine later on today, and triple digits all the way through the long holiday weekend and to start summer.
Happy Father's Day, Mike.
You too, sir.
Thank you.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. We'll see you back here at 9.